right, 2.6. Here we go. How's that? Is that okay? All right, 2.6. I know. I'm a creature of habit. I can't help it. I want to get used to doing the same thing every time. So I think that's really important. So we have some properties we're going to be dealing with today. And the properties, so we're finishing up our properties. Ooh, a fancy pen. Here we go. We're going to be dividing. So we've added, we've subtracted real numbers, we've multiplied, and now we're going to be dividing. Dividing real numbers. All right, so here we go. Dividing real numbers. And we're going to be dealing with the inverse, okay, property of multiplication, okay? And we're going to be talking about the sign value of a quotient. And we're going to hit something called the mean or average today. Okay, and then we will tackle those when we're doing our practice problems. Are you ready? Let's divide our paper. Okay. All right, so the first thing we want to talk about is the inverse. Now, we talked about inverse before, but the inverse of, or the multiplicative inverse, okay? Multiplicative, okay? I had to sound that out, is the fliprical, okay? So if you've ever heard of that word reciprocal, I like to call it the fliprical. The fliprical, okay? So for example, 3/4, the reciprocal of that, or the inverse would be 4/3, okay? Notice, same sign. We're not flipping the sign. We're not doing the inverse because the additive inverse is a little bit different. This is the multiplicative inverse. Okay, so let's really throw. So how about 1/2 would go to 2/1? Huh. Well, what about a -4 would go to a, you've got it, -1/4. Okay? All right. Sign of quotient. You know, friends, as far as like sign of the quotient, remember quotient means division. So if you 8 divided by 4 is 2. 2 positives, still positive. A negative divided by a positive, or a positive divided by a negative, still going to give you a negative. And 2 negatives, okay, that also equals a positive. So when they come in even pairs, okay, then we still have a positive. So notice these two here and here are the same. Okay, so let's take those two concepts and let's do some practicing. Okay, so find the multiplicative inverse. All right, you go ahead. What do you think? Well, -9, would be the flip. Now, if you wanted, you could put this over 1, couldn't you? So this becomes negative 1/9. Well, in 5/9, that's a little bit easier. We just flip it. It becomes 9/5. Well, that's pretty easy, right? All right. Find the quotient, which means, hey, divide. Here we go. Negative 21 divided by 3. Well, oh, 1 is negative and 1 is positive, kind of like I wrote here. Oh, that means it's still going to be negative. Very good. Ooh. This is interesting. A negative 2/3 divided by 3. Well, division is the same as the multiplicative inverse. So could I rewrite this like this? And if that's true and I'm still negative, I'm going to do my fraction, multiplicative fraction rule. 2 times 1 is 2, and 3 times 2 is 6, and then I'm going to reduce to 1/3. Now, I always put my negative up on the top of my fraction. If it's negative, I always stick it in the numerator. That's just because that's the way I've always done it. Okay. All right. Let's simplify the expression. Are you ready? Using division. Okay. Now, this is kind of like the distributive property. So I want you to be thinking about this. Think about it like this. Take each term, which is something we did last time, right? And divide it over that 2. So what is 6 divided by 2? Well, that's 3. And what's negative 14 divided by 2? Well, that's a negative 7. Do you see how separating it doesn't make it so bad? All right, you try. 36 minus 27c all over 9. All right, let's rewrite it. 36 over 9 minus 27c over 9. Well, 36 divided by 9 is 4. And a negative 27 divided by 9, that's easy. That will be negative, and it's a 3, and bring the c with you. Okay? The last part is average or mean, which means take everything, add it up, and divide by the number of terms that you're dealing with. So 12, negative 8, negative 9. Add them up. All right, so 12 plus a negative 8, that's 4, plus a negative 9, that's negative 5. And then take that number and divide by 3. Okay? Divide by 3. And so negative 5 over 3, wow, that's negative 1.66 repeating. All right, let's try this one. 7, negative 4, 1, negative 9, and negative 6. All right, so let's see. 7 plus a negative 4 plus 1 plus a negative 9 plus a negative 6. Whew. So I'm going to go 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 plus a negative 9 is negative 5 plus a negative 6 is negative 11. Now, what do we divide by? How many numbers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 11 divided by 5. Well, negative 11 divided by 5. 5 goes in to 11 twice with 1 left over, and 1/5 is 0.2. Now, can you do that on your calculator? Absolutely. Okay? So, wow, we went through a lot of topics today. Okay, good job. Now it's your turn to practice. See you later.